Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're going to be taking a look at the High Elves versus the Dwarfs. I've got the High Elves, and my Dwarf opponent is over in the woods somewhere, so let's go ahead and jump to the army compositions. We've got Tyrion on foot this time, just to make him a little bit cheaper, and since the Dawi are infantry only, I didn't feel like I necessarily needed the speed per se. We've also got a Loremaster of Hoeth, so typically I'm not a big fan of this particular caster, just because he's an infantry-only character, and being so, has the typical drawbacks of an infantry-only character in that he is, very slow. However, he does have a really nice spell selection. Spirit Leech, and some of the spells I brought, Harmonic Convergence and Earthblood, both very good cheap spells. He also can take this Loremaster's Cloak, 22% magic resistance in this area of effect. Since we're likely to face Runes of Wrath and Ruin, I've got him running with these Swordmasters of Hoeth to help protect them against that Rune of Wrath and Ruin. The Swordmasters of Hoeth, of course, have armor piercing, anti-infantry, as does the Loremaster himself. And we are on the Tower of Hoeth map, so it is quite lore appropriate to be bringing them on this particular map. We've also got 2 units of White Lions. This is a matchup where White Lions, I think, can be pretty decent. They have solid combat stats and AP values. We've got 3 units of Spearmen just for a defensive unit. The Dwarfs tend not to have a super high melee attack, so Spearmen can hold out for some time and provide a nice anvil for our 3 hammers here. We've got 3 units of Dragon Princes to be the hammer. And yeah, these guys can do a lot of shock damage. They don't have pure AP, but they do have 12 AP per hit, which is pretty decent with an 80 charge bonus. In a rear charge situation, can get a lot of damage done even against armored infantry. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Dwarf list arrayed in the trees against us. You can see it's quite the heavy infantry army. He's got miners, dwarf warriors, hammerers in the front line, with the Grumbling Guard in the center, more hammerers, more longbeards with great weapons, dwarf warriors, and miners. 3 units of rangers with great weapons, one of which is the Ulthrar's Raiders, Regiment of Renown. He's also got Slayers and the Dragonback Slayers, a Thane, Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, and I believe that's pretty much it. Yep, just a good old Gromby here, and Grombrindle is definitely one of the stronger lords for the Dawi. He has magic attacks, so that magic resistance from the Loremaster will come into play there. He has heavy armor piercing damage though, the Flash Bomb, and Grombrindle has no fear. One-time use on Grombrindle has no fear, but it does make all units map-wide unbreakable, and the Flash Bomb, 90-second cooldown, it's similar to the Flash Bomb that the... what are they? The Nasty Skulkers have, but it does give minus 27 melee defense as well. Of course, the Thane has the Tormentor Sword, and that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick the battle into full gear. And I couldn't see my opponent's army at all, so I decided to march up through the forest, and we're immediately going to spot them. And because I have cavalry, I do not want to take this fight, if at all possible, in this forest. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a bit of a tactical retreat, see if we can get my opponent to bite and follow me out into a little bit more open ground where we can get some of the cavalry to be effective. To that effect, we're going to start charging in right away just about on these miners here. And although the miners are slightly in the woods right now, they're going to emerge and be just on the edge of the woods here so that the Dragon Princes are able to get the full brunt of their charge here. You can see the miners, despite their 80 armor, going to take a pretty decent amount of damage from that charge, about 20 to 30% HP, and then we're immediately going to pull away. Don't want to get caught out by those Dragonback Slayers currently in pursuit. We've managed to pull back the infantry line without getting any units caught out, which is a nice little tactical move there. And the other Dragon Princes are coming to the scene as well. So now we're going to try and force the engagement in this open area right here, where the Dragon Princes can be as effective as possible. So let's see if we're able to do that. You can see Spearmen pulling back through the woods here, and the main Dawi Corps of Infantry kind of pushing up through this front. We decided to go for a bit of an alpha strike here, just charging face first into the Slayers because they weren't braced, and because they have 0 armor, they will take quite a bit of damage from a shock charge like that. Then we follow up with the Spearmen to just kind of pin these things in place so that when we try and pull away, we're able to do so. Some nice fire coming in from the Rangers with great weapons, going to be doing some great damage to the White Lions. It is worth noting, White Lions do have 30% missile resistance. Looks like the Flash Bomb from the front line going down from Grombrindle, and yeah, this... the Sunfang as well going down in the front line. Really, really nice damage. Grombrindle, though, tied up with the Loremaster of Hoeth. Loremaster is going to drop that Earthblood to keep himself healed up. He's taking quite a bit of damage. Tyrion's trying to help as well, but Grombrindle one-on-one will just wreck this Loremaster. But with the Loremaster getting stand your ground, and we're also going to self-buff with the Harmonic Convergence in just a minute, he'll be able to do, there goes the Harmonic Convergence, he'll be able to do quite a bit of damage against good old Gromby here. If we take a look at the stat card for the Loremaster, it's a little bit hard to see, but 57 attack, 87 defense, and he does have the armor-piercing anti-infantry, so he's getting some good work done there. Again, the magic resistance also applies against Grombrindle. One unit of Dragon Princess came and collapsed on these Rangers here, and now we're just kind of bringing them around, trying to get into positions to start rear charging this area here. These ones trying to pull away from the Dragonback Slayers, but getting caught up a little bit. Now you can see the rear charge going down in this center pocket, where you've got the Hammerers holding out with Gromby in a very, very tight pocket here. Again, dropping an Earthblood just to heal the Spearmen, heal up the Heroic Core, and the Dragon Princes as well. We did have to pull back the Loremaster because he was taking way too much damage, so we pulled him back. And now at this point, it's just going to be kind of ping-ponging around. You can see White Lions were able to dispatch Rangers out on the flanks, and now they're going to be kind of folding in on the flank here. And yeah, the Swordmasters of Hoeth holding out very, very well in the center, in the forest here. The Spearmen combining with the Swordmasters, so that the Spearmen kind of take the hits and the Swordmasters don't take as many hits. They can also dish some damage out. So they're not doing too much right now, but yeah, 72 kills so far and climbing, so pretty decent. Yeah, you can see more rear charges coming down from the Dragon Princes to the units over in this pocket here. We've just got Dwarf Warriors and Miners fixed in place by the Spearmen. Meanwhile, in the center, the Spearmen are starting to crumble away here. Tyrion himself is holding out, and we've been able to pretty much work down Grombrindle between the Loremaster and Tyrion, kind of tag-teaming him, and it looks like Tyrion's going to tap out and tap the Loremaster back in. He pops that Harmonic Convergence on himself, and all of a sudden he's got the massive combat stats. I believe Grombrindle looks like he did pop. Grombrindle has no fear because all the Dwarf units are unbreakable at this point, so we're just going to have to fight it to the end. But as soon as that drops, you can see all the leadership of the Dwarf forces start to drop pretty substantially, so the balance of power is starting to turn in my favor a little bit. We collapsed on the other unit of Rangers in the back line, and the issue with Rangers with great weapons is they have worse defensive stats, and they also are pretty squishy at the end of the day because they have very low armor compared to most Dwarf units. Grombrindle goes down here, and another Sunfang roasting the Hammerers and the, I believe the Grumbling Guard, nope, just regular Grombeards in this pocket. The Thane's still fighting, but with Grombrindle going down, the Dwarf forces are going to be wanting to rout pretty badly here. You can see Hammerers and the Grumbling Guard still holding out in this pocket. The Dragon Princes are going to come in. They are getting the debuffs from being large in the forest here, but at this point I just wanted to try and win a leadership victory, as well as dropping a unified Earthblood here to hit the Swordmasters, both units of White Lions and these Dragon Princes. Get some really good value healing there. And yeah, at this point, just the Dawi leadership can't hold up to all the rear attacks. Grombrindle going down, you know, they're getting massacred by the Swordmasters and so on. So yeah, the Dwarfs are definitely gonna have a defeat this day. Many more grudges will be written about the nasty Elgi, which of course they have many entries already. But here in the Vale of the Tower of Hoeth, the Loremaster and his Swordmasters going to be successful here. The Loremaster himself actually being a very key component there with that Harmonic Convergence and the Earthblood, also doing quite a bit of damage himself against the Heroic Core of the Dawi, which is always necessary. At this point, it's just these Slayers holding out in the forest. So yeah, we'll go ahead and fast forward through the late game here as these Slayers make their last stand against the Dragon Princes in overwhelming odds here, excuse me. And yeah, victory for the High Elves. So very fun battle, well played to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. It's you know, I definitely think this is a matchup that potentially, depending on the terrain and the builds, I do think it can favor the Dwarfs. But the High Elves do have some tools, though. I mean, Tyrion, pretty decent in this matchup. He has solid AP values, and he has the combat stats, at least, to duel any Dwarf character relatively well. Likewise, the Loremaster, he's a little bit squishy. He doesn't have much HP, but he does have a good spell selection, and if you self-buff with that Harmonic Convergence, it makes him into a very scary duelist. The Swordmasters, of course, 165 kills. That anti-infantry armor piercing makes them very, very good in this matchup. I wouldn't want to spam them, though, because they're very expensive. 1 or 2 is probably all you need, and then just make sure to keep them in a safe position where you can then get into the Dwarf infantry line and do a lot of damage. Likewise, Dragon Princes, solid pick in this matchup. You do have to watch out for Slayers, and in the upcoming patch, Giant Slayers are going to be very scary to deal with. But yeah, Dragon Princes, you can see all of them managed to pick up chevrons, get quite a few kills, 98, 62, and 113. White Lions, decent kills overall. The Spearmen were, again, more just a defensive unit just to kind of hold up the Dawi for a time. For my opponent here, the Rangers, I'm not the biggest fan of Rangers the Weapons, as I mentioned, because of this particular issue. I would much prefer to bring either Thunderers or, like, Bugman's Rangers. Bugman's Rangers have regeneration. They don't have the AP. They do have regeneration, and they have charge defense against large. The Thunderers, of course, also have armor piercing. They have better range, and they have heavy armor and a shield. So it makes them a little bit more resistant to cav charges. You still don't want them getting caught out by a charge by the Dragon Princes, but still. Hammers did pretty decently, 52 and 52. The Longbeards struggled a little bit, as did the Slayers, Dwarf Warriors as well in the front line struggling a little bit, and losing Grombrindle there to the character core of the High Elves here was definitely a pretty rough engagement there, but overall, very fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this kind of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you next time.